Are you very busy during the week? And you want to comment during the class on Sabbath, and you didn't even get the chance to read the lesson or to study the Sabbath school lesson.
Yeah.
But we have you covered, hey?
Say no more.
As always.
Say less.
Yeah, we have you covered. Don't worry, we have studied it for you.
Yeah.
Lesson number 8.
Lesson 8, we're pushing, man.
Yeah,
we're going
lesson
somewhere.
number 8.
Yeah, we're going
The
somewhere.
title is The Preeminence of Christ.
The Preeminence of Christ.
Hey,
yes.
English there.
Yeah.
I had to take the dictionary and check what is preeminence.
Yeah.
Yeah, the preeminence of Christ.
Yeah.
What's our memory text?
Our memory text is coming from Colossians 1,
Yes.
verse 15 to 17. Why am I not seeing? To 17, eh? The one, eh?
Yeah.
Verse 1 to 17.
Mm.
Let me get it. Yeah, I can't really see it.
Yeah.
Let me check the other side. I might see well. Yeah. Colossians 1, verse 15 to 17.
Mm-hmm.
Then it says, He is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn over all creation. For by him all things were created that are in heaven and that are on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones
Yes.
or dominions or principalities or powers. All things were created through him and for him. And he is before all things, and in him all things consist. That is our memory text.
Yes.
So you just said something which is very true to say, that's English, preeminence of Christ.
Yeah.
So maybe to someone who doesn't know what is preeminence, in the simplest way that I found when we go through searching is that is the greatness of Christ. That's the simple English that we can maybe all of us understand. The greatness of Christ, that's our title of the lesson.
Yes.
Now, the Sabbath school writer writes and start off by saying that this week's lesson we resume our consideration of Colossians, and then in lesson 2, go check it. On lesson 2 on Thursday, we saw that in Colossians 1:9 to 12, Paul prays for believers in Colossia, asking that they may live in a way pleasing to God. Now in verse 12 and 13, then we see that there are two realms. The two realms is that there's a darkness and now there's a light.
Yeah.
Two realms where there's a darkness and the other one there's light. So now few lesson that I pick is that the kingdom of God is the realm which is where there's light. Now the kingdom of the devil or the kingdom of Satan is the realm where it's darkness. The first lesson that we might take home. Lesson number 2 is that Jesus is first and most important in everything, because it is in Jesus that we have redemption. So it is in him that we have redemption. And we've always, and in most of our studies, that to say that it is not through us but through Christ. So it is in him where we have our redemption. And now lesson number 3, which is the last, is that by our faith in him, still comes back to you to say that by our faith in you,
Yes.
by the faith in him, I mean to say, it is then that he can work through you. So it still does come back to you that you have faith in him, that he can work through you. And now in the last line, is it the last line? I think the Sabbath school writer says, this week we will look at one of the most comprehensive and sublime statement about Jesus in the New Testament, to say what does it mean that Jesus is the image of the invisible God, yet also the firstborn over all creation. So that was Sabbath school afternoon.
Yeah, in the past few weeks we were touching on the book of Philippians, right? And now we're in Colossians.
Yeah.
So just to start with the book of Colossians, it's important for us to understand what is the book of Colossians about.
Okay.
Just in brief, Colossians teaches that Jesus Christ is supreme over everything. He's supreme over creation, he's supreme over the church, spiritual over every spiritual power. So the preeminence of Christ, right? So preeminence means the highest, holding the highest position.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we are saying the preeminence of Christ, we are saying Christ is holding the highest position, right?
Yeah.
And also it talks about his superiority. Okay. Yeah, he's above all things,
All
he's above
things,
all
yeah.
ranks, right? He has all the authority, right? So that's what it means that's what it means for Christ to be preeminent.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we are saying he holds everything. Also, when it comes back to us, right, we're not only saying he has he holds every creation, but he is also the Lord of our lives,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, he should also dwell in our hearts. He should be the one also to be having, to be holding our hearts, right? He's the first in the church, right? So that's what it means to say the preeminence of Christ. Yeah. So that was Sabbath afternoon.
Sabbath afternoon. Now, when we go to Sunday, the title of Sunday, it says that image of the invisible God.
Yeah.
The image of the invisible God. And when you read John 14, verse 9, it says, Jesus said to him, Have I been with you so long, and yet you have not known me?
Yeah.
And he who has seen me has seen the Father. So how can you say, show us the Father? Now, when we talk of an image, right? We are talking about something that presents what is not necessarily there. But rather it's more or less like a reflection. When you look at the mirror, you are looking at the reflection of you. It's not really that it's you.
Yeah.
Now that in Sunday, we then learn that Jesus is more or less a whole image. When you're looking at yourself, it's really you in the mirror, but it's not you. So Jesus is like the whole, is like an image of God. God is being seen by how Christ lives. So when we're talking about image of the invisible God, it's simply saying that Jesus came on earth and then he lived in ways that God is. So now the Sabbath School writer writes and says that human beings were created to be as much like God as possible, physically, spiritually, relationally. Hey, this word I was reading, and I was like, how do you really pronounce it? Relationally. But I know it's something to say how you are living, relationally and functionally.
Yes.
And then he says, still they reflect God's image in certain aspects only.
Yeah.
And sin has damaged even that. But Jesus enabled us to see the invisible God. As I was saying, to say that Jesus is the only perfect example to show us that, or to show us how God is. So hence the title, image of the invisible God. Yeah, that was Sunday.
Yeah, that was Sunday. Okay, so yeah, you did touch to say an image is a reflection of something, right? Of a particular object, or it's a representation of the first object.
Yeah.
That's what you said, right?
Yeah.
So at first, in the Bible, we first see this word image, being proclaimed in Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. Remember, God said, let us make man in our
own
image, right? So in most cases, we think, we think God's image is having, we only limit God's image to having our physical features, like the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the hands, and all that. Yes, in some sense, that's the image of God. Okay, but in a broader sense, when God said, let us make man in our own image, he was saying, let us make man to have our characteristics. Okay, so God is loving, God is caring, God is compassionate, right? So when God was creating Adam, he created him with those characteristics or those traits. Okay, and then after man sinned, then the image of God was started to be distorted. Okay, that is why when the writer also points out in Genesis chapter 5 verse 3, when Seth was born, the Bible tells us that he had the image of Adam, not the image of God, right? Because it was now at a point where the image of God was being distorted because of what?
Sin.
Because of sin.
Yeah.
The writer also mentions 1 Corinthians 15:49. He says that as we have borne the image of the man of the dust, we also bear the image of the man of heaven, which is Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, so the image of God was distorted from the beginning, and Christ came back to restore the image of the Father. Okay, he came to restore the image of God
himself,
right? So what does that mean? It tells us Guti, when we want to inherit the kingdom of heaven, when we want to make it someday to heaven, it means we have to reflect Christ. Right. That's why we are saying we are called Christians, because we imitate Christ. Right. So that's what it means to have the image of
God.
Yeah. I'm also interested in the phrase that says Jesus is the invisible image of God. Yeah, he's the image of the invisible God. So he came to reveal God in dust. Imagine, he took our flesh, he took our form, and then he revealed God. Right. So it also tells us, Guti, if Christ was able to overcome everything in the human flesh, it also tells us, Guti, when we want to inherit everything that has been prepared for us, we have to overcome all those things. That means we have to have the image of Jesus. And how do we have the image of God? That is by clothing the righteousness of Christ. So that was what?
Powerful. Sunday.
That was Sunday. Then Monday says firstborn over all creation. Firstborn over all creation. So firstborn over all creation, like in this phrase, in this context, right? It doesn't suggest that Christ was the first creature to be created. If Christ was a creature, okay, if Christ was created, then he ceases to be God, because God cannot be created. You see? So what does it mean? So it's a Greek phrase that simply tells us, Guti, he is preeminence, right? He's superior. He has authority, right? He's the authority of the highest rank. So also when you check the Bible, there are certain parts also where some people who were not necessarily firstborns were called firstborns. For example, David. The Bible tells us that God refers to him as a firstborn. Right. But when you check David, he is the lastborn of the 12 sons of Jesse. Right. So this Greek phrase, it suggests a strong relationship between the father and the favorite son. Right. So that's what being the firstborn means. It cannot be the same as the book. So the Colossians, when it says the firstborn of all creation, it simply tells us what Christ, he's above everything. He's he's preeminent. Okay, so that's what I picked from Monday.
Okay, just to add up on what you're saying, it then concludes to say Jesus made everything we can see and cannot see, and that hence Jesus is superior above all things, and that is just the little knowledge that I got from Monday. Then going to Tuesday, then Tuesday the heading says the head of the body, then in brackets the church. Now I just got 3 lessons that I loved from here, to say that the head of the body, the head of the body is more or less the control of everything. I move because of the head has think. So now 3 lessons that I get is that Jesus is the head or a leader of the church. What does that then say? That we should move and be directed by Jesus. Because as I've said, the head controls everything about the body. Now Jesus guides the church. Jesus should be the guide of how we operate church. It's something that we are not doing nowadays. We are operating the church with our own heads. We are leaving the head of which is Jesus. So Jesus will be the guide of the church, not the head. The
head decode.
Not to woman here. No. Jesus
Okay.
should be the guide of the church, Then we shall even see that, there's life in the church. The reason why we are not seeing so much life is because Jesus is no longer the head of the church and is no longer the guide of the church. Then lesson 3 that I get is that he helps us agree with each other about the Bible truth. There are so many arguments in the church. Shows that Jesus is no longer the head of the church. So he being the head of the church, he then helps us, guide us to also understand and agree with what the Bible says. Now, there's a line that I got from the Sabbath school, and I got it from the Easy Read. Then it says that the body cannot live without the head, which is true. Why are you trying to run the church without God? You're trying to run it with your head. The body cannot live without the head. In the same way, the church cannot live without Jesus.
Yeah.
Now, it says that when the part of the body is hurt or lost, life can be hard. Often we do not know how important some things is until we lose it. Yeah, I don't know if that was the right English, but yeah. Jesus should be the head of the church, and everything should be done according to his will, and no one's will is in the church, not even the church elder. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is Tuesday.
Yeah, that was Tuesday. Okay, so here's what I learned, right? So whenever we want to destroy any creature, the first thing you target is the head.
Yeah.
Right. Also, when you go to the rurals, okay, I know most of you didn't grow up, you don't know how to slaughter a chicken. So where do you start slaughtering a chicken? Do you start slaughtering it
from the head?
Feet? From the head.
Yes.
A cattle, a cow is the head.
Yes.
Right. So the head is the epicenter of the body.
Yeah.
Right. So when the head dies, the whole body automatically dies.
It dies, yes.
Right. So Christ is the head of the church. When you have Christ the head, when you put Christ out of the picture, then the whole body, which is the church, suffers. Right. So this is what the devil is seeking to do. Right. He hates the church so much that he wants to destroy the head. Right. He knows that when the church is without the head, that is Christ, the whole body will suffers, right? And the church without the body without the body is as good as nothing. Right. So okay, I'm interested in Genesis 3 verse 15. Okay, it's a prophecy.
Yeah.
Right. It was a prophecy when God was telling Adam, the Messiah is going to come. Right, he's going to crush the head of the serpent. And the serpent is going to bruise the heel of the seed of the woman, which was Christ.
Yeah.
Right. So no matter so the devil did try to tempt Christ, to forbid him from going to the cross. Right. But he could only bruise his heel, but he could not bruise the head.
Yeah.
The head was very far.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, it was his head that was crushed. The head of the serpent was crushed at the cross.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So another important point I like that the writer depicts here, is the members. Your body is made up of parts.
Yes.
Right. It's made up of body parts.
Yeah.
So as members of the church, we are different body parts. Right, you cannot say as a hand, I do not need you. I don't need the nose. I don't need the what. Right, and most of the members, that's what they do.
Yeah,
they feel like they are the eyes. We can do it
without.
We can do it without the hand. We can do it without the neck.
Yeah,
we can do it without the legs. And that's very dangerous.
Yeah.
And imagine all of us who were singers in church.
Oh,
imagine if all of us were preachers.
Boring place.
Yeah, imagine if all of us were ushers.
All of us were deacons.
It means the whole church is just as dead.
Yeah.
So we need that variety. We need singers, we need preachers, we need teachers, we need ushers. So that's what makes the church environment to be so nice. Unfortunately, this is no longer the condition of the church. There are some people who feel like, no, that brother, okay, I can do it without him. That sister, why do we need him?
Yeah.
So that's very dangerous, So for the whole body to function and to move forward, there needs to be a cooperation of the what? Of the body parts. Right? So yeah, that was what?
Tuesday.
That was Tuesday.
Yes.
And then Wednesday, the beginning, right?
The beginning, yeah.
And it says in brackets, and initiator. Okay.
Yeah.
He has a statement I formed. It says, in the beginning, everything began to begin because the beginner had begun the beginning. Yeah. So it simply refers to Christ. Okay.
Yeah.
So one thing I like about this initiator or the beginner, which is Christ, is that he has the power to begin anew. Right. So what seems distorted in our lives, right? He can begin it anew. Right. So in Genesis 1 verse 2, the Bible tells us, the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. Okay, if I was a Bible writer, I was going to start with verse 2 and then go to verse 1 and says, in the beginning. So the reason why God says in the beginning, it was because at first there was darkness, there was chaos, there was void on earth. That's why God says in the beginning, God. Right. So in life, we might have those moments whereby, there's no light. Our lives are just void. There's just chaos. But God is saying, I am able to begin anew with you. Okay. So we are in that state, or we are in that condition of Genesis 1 verses 2. Right. So the beginner or the initiator who began everything is able to begin anew with you. So that's what I picked on Wednesday. Yeah.
It's quite nice in ways that I don't feel like I should say anything. But just to add is to say, I'm just gonna read something that I got from the Sabbath School Writer Straight. To say that Paul reasons for Jesus having preeminence, like to say that why Jesus is the first things. Paul gives us some reasons to see that God is really superior and is the creator of all things. Then he says, number one, he is the perfect manifestation of the invisible God. Number two, he is the agent or by whom all things were created. All things. I think that maybe some not, but all things by him was created. Number three, he existed before all things. He didn't exist because now the earth was there. He existed outside the earth. He existed outside time itself. So he is really a preeminent. He is the first and the most important in all things. Number four, he is the head of the church, which is his body, and something that we're discussing on Tuesday. Number five, he is the initiator of creation and the recreation. He can recreate you. And as much as you think maybe you are too broken, you're not broken enough for God or for Jesus. Jesus can recreate you and be new and clean as if you were never broken. Number six, he has conquered sin and death, and thus and the right to to resurrect all who put their trust in him. So if you die today and you have put your trust in him, God is able, and he shall, and he will resurrect you one day. So make your ways according so that you die in him, and one day he will resurrect you in the right side of resurrection. Number seven, which is that Jesus has always existed. What I've said, to say it didn't start to exist now because this time, didn't start to exist because earth has started. And that was Wednesday, the beginning and initiator. Yes, he is the beginning.
And then Thursday, to reconcile all things. To reconcile all things. So I'm interested in the third paragraph, which reads, the only way sin could really be defeated forever and all things be reconciled that could be reconciled is summed up in that one glorious truth. God loved. He loved the universe, and he loved us so much that he risked everything to save us through Christ's death on the cross. So there are a few important lessons I picked. So number one is that the love of Christ on the cross reconciles us to him because we accept him as Lord and our Savior. He clothes us with his righteousness. Okay. Then number 2, the love of Jesus does not only the love of Jesus Christ on the cross does not only reconcile us to him, but it also reconciles us to the Father. Right? Because when Christ came to die for the human family, he left the Godhead family and he became one of us. Right? In other words, he became our brother. So when God looks at us, he sees his daughters and his sons. Why? Because we are brothers to his dear son Jesus. Right? So Christ also reconciles us to God the Father. Okay. And then point number 3, I learned that the death of Jesus Christ on the cross, it brings the whole universe to, it reconciles the whole of the universe. Okay. So, when Christ was hanging there on the cross, we are told Guti, the whole universe, it was spectating, the cross was a spectacle. Yeah.
Yeah, spectator.
Yeah, English.
Hey, cool.
Yeah. So the universe, they understood, they saw the love of Jesus on the cross. So Jesus was a spectator, right? So everyone, no, the universe was
Spectator.
yeah. Yes. English, man. Yeah. So it was like a soccer match. When a soccer in a ground, in a stadium, in a field, everyone is watching that small ball. Everyone is watching the game. So you see, so the cross was like the center, and lastly, the love of Jesus Christ on the cross. It reconciles us, together as brothers and sisters. And someday when we go to heaven, we shall be reconciled to that greater reunion with Him in heaven. Yeah.
The reconcile of all things. I feel like when I was reading, I just learned that, or I've learned the character or the nature of God. All the things you're mentioning,
Yeah.
still comes back to show us God is merciful, God forgives, God loves, and then God has the power to overcome sin. And it also emphasizes more to show how much He loves us, because He sent His beloved Son to die for us, and then us being in debt to Him.
Yeah.
He sent Him just like that. So what is that if it's not love? So on Thursday I learned the character of God, and God is love. God is merciful. And yeah, that is Thursday.
Yeah. And then Friday. Further thoughts. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the preeminence of Christ? What are your thoughts on Christ being the firstborn of all creation? What does it mean for Christ to be the image of the invisible God? Please write down on the comment section. You see that box? Please fill it in. Your thoughts, they matter to us. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. If you have any comments, any subtractions, additions, please feel free to do so. Yeah, we are also learning.
Yes.
Yeah. That was lesson number 8, the preeminence of Christ.
Yeah.
From Rhythm and Chats, we are out.
That's all.
Bye.